It's hammer time, kids. All right, man, this is it. This is the challenge. This is what we've been waiting for. I've been waiting for it for at least a month now. Wanting to build these maker coins and wanted to see how my buddies do, because they're doing them at the same time and none of us know what the other guy's really doing. So it'll be fun to find out today how everybody's turned out. I'm going to do something different than probably all of them. At least I think I'm going to do something different than all of them. I don't know. I got 4 coins that I printed up. Now I printed these things up on my printer, on my 3D printer. This is the challenge that we're going to do. This is what we're going to put on one side of the coin. It's going to be tough because it is tiny, tiny, tiny stuff in here. On the other side of the coin is my logo, and I expect the other guys, their logos as well. That's kind of what we discussed. So this is the coin. It's got the challenge, which is a crucible pouring into a YouTube button. Flip it over, and there's my logo. Now, as I said, I made 4 of these guys. 2 of them are not very good. So, and I screwed them up. It's not the part's fault, it's my fault. So for example, like this guy, I put black marker all over it because I know I filled this thing full of paint. So I was painting, I painted them with a primer just to smooth things out, and I got too much paint in there. And the same with this one, there's too much paint inside it. I don't know that we're going to see the detail, especially right along this part of it. So those are going on the outside. These 2 look pretty good, as far as I'm concerned. They look pretty good to me. So I'm going to put them in the middle of my mold, and I'm going to put the other 2 on the outside. We'll see when we cast it up. For me, it's going to be kind of cool because I want to see if I can do more than I did. Two of the bronze Bitcoin that I made, and those worked really well. It was great having 2 come out instead of just 1. So I'm hoping I can actually get to where I can do like 4 at a time in my flask, and that'll help productivity quite a bit. I mean, yes, I love doing it, but it'd be nice to have like 3 or 4 or 5 of these things hanging around. I can give them away or do whatever with them. And it's hard to do when you do 1 at a time. So let's go ahead and, we're taking one more thing here. So I did this on the Bitcoin as well. You see this part here, this is going to be my vent, and this is going to be my runner. And the reason those are on there is because look how thick that thing is. It's not very thick. And if you look really carefully, hopefully if you look really carefully, you can see that this is lower than the ridge of the coin. So it fills in. I still have a witness line that I can cut this off, and I can grind it smooth and grind it round. But when it's tough cutting a gate that small and getting it in there and not destroying things. So I went ahead and printed my gate, and this will be a vent. I'm going to vent up and out as well for all 4 of them. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and get this thing set up. I showed you my new setup. It's so cool. This is going to be cool. Paul, Jeff, I'm going to apologize now, and I'm probably going to apologize again. Sorry, guys. You just can't compete. Did I show you this? Watch this. I love it. I love it. All right. Here we go. I told you I was going to put these guys in the middle. I was asked to do them 1 up and 1 down just to see if there's a difference in the way the quality turns out. I'm going to put a little space in between them because I'm going to put a runner right down the middle of that. This is going to be one of the bad ones on the outside, and here's another bad one on the outside. Kind of thinking basically like that. Now what's going to happen is the sprue is going to be here. Well, only, on the other side. I will have a feeder that runs across these guys. That seems awful far apart, doesn't it? What if I did this? Let me think about doing it that way. Brand new Petrobond, never before touched by human hands. Put this on as our sort of our facing sand. And I'm doing this because this stuff is so much stronger than the stuff I've been repurposing, that I've been adding oil to. It gives me such a better surface. And I'm gonna get it rammed in there pretty good. I want to make sure I get down into those little tiny crevices well. All right, here it is. Got it turned over. I'm going to go ahead and somewhere, I'm not going to talc it. You almost had me going. You almost had me talking this. I'm not ready to talc it yet. We have to cut these things out of here now, because right now they're sitting down there too deep, and if I try to pull them out, I'm going to end up breaking all along these edges, because in reality they're kind of shaped like this, and so if I pull this wide part out, it's just going to lift that sand and break it. So what I want to do is try to cut about halfway down, and this is just more, well, this is, if I had a good technique, I would feel better about this, but we're going to just cut it to where we hope is halfway. And I got another trick I'm going to do here in a second to hopefully clean this up just a little bit better. All right, so there's that one. I'll go ahead and do the ready's cut, and then I'll come back and show you the trick I'm going to do. Okay, watch this. Look at this. You see that? There's air right there. I'm going to blow these off without trying to blow them out of the mold, just so I can see what I've got going here. Low air pressure, low air pressure. All right, so you can kind of see what I've got going here. I've trimmed around them. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do next. The nail I've got. I'm gonna use the pointy end, and I'm going to cut right along here, because that spoon, even though I'm trying, the spoon leaves sort of this lip of sand, almost like a meniscus of sand up around the part. And this is, I'm just going to use this to try to cut that and get it down to where it's flatter. And we got one more thing we're going to do after we do that to try to get this so it'll release nice. Alrighty, before we go ahead and put the cope on, I'm going to go ahead and talc this up pretty well, pretty liberally, even out here on the edges, because I don't want any of this sticking to the sand coming out of the top. And I'm going to, is one sort of last thing I want to do, is I'm going to brush this where I cut it down, and just a way to try to smooth it some. One more final smoothing of this stuff I've cut, because the spoon doesn't cut it. The spoon, as if it were an animate object. The spoon doesn't do a good job of cutting it. Not me. I don't do a great job of cutting, and this will just kind of help smooth things out, smooth the sand a little bit more, give me a decent, hopefully decent part. So let's go ahead and get that coat put up here, and we'll put some more Petrobond on it. Now when I cut this, I'm going to cut the runner and the drag, and I'm going to cut the gate. The gates are already on there. I'm going to cut the feeder into the cope. Now I don't need a feeder to feed the part, because as I learned when I did my Bitcoins, is the feeder really didn't supply the part with anything to keep it from shrinking. The feeder was really there to make me feel better, I guess, but it really didn't do a whole lot. Okay, we got vents. Now all I gotta do is find where there's one. Okay, let's get this thing filled in. Okay, note to self. Go to McDonald's and steal some more straws, some longer ones. I need long ones. These short ones just barely made it through, and I kept hitting them as I was packing. So, gotta get more straws. Put my basin in. 30 millimeters deep. And we'll cut edge to edge. Bring that down. And as always, my ridge is about 10 millimeters. For those of you who refuse to work in decimal, that's like 3/8 of an inch deep, all right? So you know. So I am 30 millimeters, which is going to be 1.25 inches almost deep, and 3/8 of an inch down, or 3/8 of an inch from the bottom is where my ridge is. And I'm just using the straw because I can use it to cut a nice smooth radius coming on the downhill side of the ridge, because I want the metal to flow over that gently, just nice and easy. No turbulence, if I can get away with it. No turbulence there, just nice smooth flow right into the mold. All right, get this thing off of here, and that's goodness. All right, so you can see, you can see how the pattern completed itself on this side. That one looks pretty good. Actually, the other one doesn't look, well, that one doesn't look real whippy, but all right. And I still got sand that broke away. I think it's just because the old stuff isn't bonding well to the Petrobond. That's okay. This stuff out here on the side isn't going to matter at all. Atoll. That's like a little island, an atoll. We'll cut my feeder runner into the top here. So my sprue is coming out here. So I'm going to basically have, well, that didn't work out well, did it? We're going to bring it across. Oh, we're not going to bring it across there at all. We're going to bring the runner across here. And I'm going to go ahead and cut a fairly big one, just because I want to make sure I get plenty of molten metal into the parts, and I don't want it to starve itself on the way over. So we're going to cut a fairly good size runner here off the sprue. And this notion of a basin at the bottom of the sprue, you don't need to do that. I mean, it just comes down and it runs across. The basin, I don't know. I was shown that early on and by some other people, and I'm not buying it anymore. All right, so we're going to cut now this is going to be my main, I want to call this, I guess I'm going to call it my feeder. And I'm going to cut it, it's going to be kind of odd shaped, I realize that, but that's because the way I laid this thing out. I wasn't thinking real well when I did this. So this is going to act as another runner and feeder, sort of. Again, it's fairly good size. It's much bigger than the part. So let's see if we can't get these guys out of here. Seeing a little breakage on that one. So again, I didn't get it cut. Apparently I didn't get it cut deep enough. Hopefully this one comes out clean. Oh, baby, that one's really clean. As is that one. And that one broke too. That's all right. Those are the ones I don't think are going to work anyway. So I'm going to blow them out. Get rid of that loose sand. You can see it breaking off there. That's just the corners because they said they fold up and then they break off. All right. I think those two are going to be really nice. These two are not going to be horrible, but I didn't think they would work anyway, so I'm okay with that. Let me put this back on here. I'm going to do a trial close just to make sure everything, anything that's going to fall out of there is going to fall out before I get it closed up for real. And we'll blow it out one more time. Come on. We're on. Okay. Nothing's moving around. Let's melt us some bronze and put Paul and Jeff to shame. That's what goes right before a fall, right? Pride. Looks like the tip of my burner melted off. Pour, 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 keep it in there. Guess that's it.
Keep it in there.
Okay, it's been a couple of minutes. Here's my ingots I poured. Nice, pretty yellow. Let's pretend this is hard, like that. And let's open her up and see what we got. Well, 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 an empty mold. Once again, an empty mold. Let's look what we got on this side. Got lots of silver, and they don't look too shabby. Even the ones on the end don't look too bad. So I'm going to dig it out of here, dunk it in some water, cool it off, and we'll take a closer look. All right. So part of the deal of this thing was to see who can get a good part to come out of the mold, and I got two that are great. They look fabulous. Both sides look good. I'm going to go ahead. Let me just bring it up to your shade. It's kind of funny. They look like they look copper. I know that will change as I get them cleaned up. But you can see as I'm kind of just rubbing this silver film off of them. That's I think it's just an artifact of the oil, or maybe it's oxidation. I'm not sure, but they look very copper. You can't see that. Let's go over here. Let's get in front of the camera. There, they look very copperish, don't they? I mean, not really bronzy, but here's the one I was afraid of. This fact there's the one I was really thought it was going to be bad, because I had filled it full of paint, and you can see there's not a lot of definition, not on the edge. But I was able to get 4 parts out of this thing. 1 pour, four coins. So that's pretty cool. If I didn't screw up the pattern, I would have had 4 good coins here. Let me go ahead and get these guys. There they are. Well, let's go turn it this way. So this is the one side. There we go. There's the other side. I'm pretty happy with all of them. Good detail. Once again, always, I'm going to talk about this thing till I'm blue in the face, until you're sick of hearing it. Here's my pour basin. I pour into that. It goes over this ridge. Ridge is pretty close to the bottom. I suppose try to go 10. That's probably maybe 10 millimeters. I don't know, pretty close. Nice, small, tapered sprue. Doesn't have to be huge. I came across into a runner that runs across the bottom, and then I fed into this feeder. Now the feeder didn't do much except transport metal, because you see it didn't shrink at all in here. It's pretty much the shape that I cut. So not a lot of metal, and I didn't expect any shrinkage out of it. I got a little shrinkage up here on top from this big lump, but for the most part, these are so tiny that I didn't expect any. My vents worked really well. I got the screw. This is when I was ramming it. I kept ramming the straws down into the sand. So that's why I got those guys coming out the bottom. But doesn't matter. The vents worked really well. The metal flowed right out of there and up. I got good looking parts. I'm pretty happy with this pour. I'm going to go ahead and get these guys cut off of here, and let's get them cleaned up, and we'll show you the finished result. Maybe I'll even be in focus. So here's one of the ones that was in the middle, one of the ones where the pattern was good and where it came out of the mold good. There's the logo, and that's the what it looks like. Nice and shiny. Had a problem with this one though when I was cleaning it up. And just see if I can get it to focus on me again. There we go. Right here. You can see it. Kind of see that, there it is right there, that dent that kind of runs across this way. I think I was using to polish it to smooth it, grabbed it and sucked it inside and just rubbed it right there. Guess this one's going back in the furnace. However, let me make it all shiny for you. This is again one of the other ones in the middle, and here we go. Let's see if we can't get it to focus on me. There it is. Good detail. You can see all the lines in it. You can see the pour, you can see the play button, everything. Pretty darn happy with that. And look at the reflection in it. Oh, there's the camera. Here's the logo side. Again, good shape. I got all my lines across the logo. You can see them kind of there. I can do it without all the light shining on it. It's so shiny. It's so shiny. Anyway, there's my coin. By Maker Coin. What do you think? If you like it, let me know. If you don't, keep it to yourself. I had a lot of fun making these things. Had a lot of fun working with Paul and Jeff, get this set up. So I'm going to go ahead and link. Let's see if I go over here. There, right? I'm going to go ahead and link Jeff's video right there. I'm assuming I've got the link to it. Paul, give me your link so I can get it to your link up, your video too. You can see all three. I'll put them in a playlist so that you can see them all together at the end. And yeah, pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with that. You as men better watch out. So I'm saying, you guys had a great day.